Boy. Выстрел!
In the late 1970s, almost 15 years after it stumbled into service in the Red Army, the BMP-1 was already obsolete, to some degree at least. Besides its other downsides, the BMP-1 became unable to complete its main task, which was to destroy enemy tanks. Reason for that was because new NATO armored fighting vehicles entered the jet, which were just too heavily armored for the BMP-1's 73mm cannon, making it as effective as throwing rocks. This shows in War Thunder as well.
The target hasn't taken any damage!
Now, at that time, the newer and better BMP-2 was almost ready to enter service, but there was still the mind-breaking question of what to do with the thousands of BMP-1s the Red Army already had. Replacing them with the BMP-2 would be too expensive, considering the fact that the Soviet Union had some serious financial issues in the 1980s, so they could not afford that. Just scrapping the BMP-1 was not an option either, because it was still something you could use, right? It was obsolete, but not completely useless. It was nothing that could not be improved with a slight upgrade. I think you see where I'm going with this. Long story short, the Soviets introduced the upgraded version of the BMP-1, the BMP-1P. It was produced from 1979 until 1983, when the main production of the BMP-1 came to its end. And this BMP-1P upgrade is what we're gonna talk about today. Hello and welcome to the Bobby and Tanks YouTube channel, and enjoy this video. The main changes were made in the armor and the ATGM. Looking at the ATGM first, because I know you guys like the bombastic stuff, the basic 9K11 Malyutka ATGM was replaced with the 9K111 Faggot ATGM. Now, how much better is this? Well, besides the fact that it has more penetration power, the Faggot ATGM is a lot more user-friendly. So user-friendly that even a half-drunk conscript with the IQ of a potato could operate it. It uses a Cyclos semi-automatic command-to-line of sight targeting system, which basically means that the gunner just has to aim with his normal gunner's sight and the missile will adjust its flight path by itself. It's like the missile is smarter than the gunner, which, considering Soviet military standards, wouldn't be much of a surprise. Just for you to compare, the Malyutka ATGM was manually guided and required the gunner to use a joystick to aim the missile, which was a lot harder to do. The Faggot ATGM has a range of 2 km and could be as fast as 240 meters per second with a penetration power of up to 600 mm. This was definitely enough to penetrate most new NATO tanks, although different reports from different sources vary its armor penetration from 450 to 600 mm. The Faggot ATGM could also be replaced with a 9M113 Concours ATGM, which had more than 600 mm of penetration power and a range of 3 km. The amount of missiles the BMP-1P could carry did not change, meaning it could carry 4 missiles. In order to improve the BMP-1's protection, the BMP-1P was equipped with a 902B Tucha smoke grenades, which were installed on the rear of the turret, so that they could pop smoke whenever they needed. The hull and turret also received flame retardant splinter protection, which would protect it from napalm and other highly flammable substances. That was to prevent any "oh shit, it's on fire" situations. But besides that, not much changed. The armor on the BMP-1P stayed as useful as a chocolate teapot, with real reinforcements only appearing on the BMP-1D model used in Afghanistan. But that's not it. There is also another interesting variant of the BMP-1P called the BMP-1PG. In addition to the changes introduced in the BMP-1P, it featured an automatic 30mm grenade launcher mounted on the turret. The operator, either the gunner or the commander, aimed by rotating the turret with the vertical movement controlled remotely and depending on the main gun's elevation. The grenade launcher had a maximum direct fire range of 250 meters and an indirect fire range of 1700 meters. It fired explosive projectiles with a blast radius of 7 meters and had a rate of fire of 400 rounds per minute, making it highly effective against enemy infantry. However, Its use was limited by the vehicle's capacity to carry only 28 projectiles. Additionally, the gunner had to operate this extra weapon system, which could reduce overall effectiveness. So, while the BMP-1PG might have seemed like a step in the right direction, it was really just another chapter in the Soviet playbook of, let's see if we can make this barely functional death trap slightly more terrifying. A small number of BMP-1PG vehicles were built towards the end of the BMP-1P's production period and were used exclusively by the Soviets, just like the BMP-1P. Anyways, that was all I had to say for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think I said anything that is not right or you think I should have added any additional information to this video, please let me know in the comments and share your knowledge. Besides that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.